I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go. See, come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that.
You see Jonathan Majors, what he went through. Marvel dropped him as soon as the conviction came out. And you were telling the
Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you, coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting all four. Guilty, 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 guilty. She came in there, was just so beautiful, they had to knock half of it off. Bless his heart.
What do you think about this cancel culture? You see the situation with Jonathan Majors. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I don't know if maybe he can bounce back in a couple of years, but man, he was hot. He was hot, he was cooking. I mean, you see him in Creed, he's in the Marvel movies, and then just like that.
Maybe I'm a conspiracy theory, but I thought Katt Williams said any time they make you into that position, part of that contract is you do understand whenever we want to take you down, we can, right? Part of giving you the world. First of all, they went around the world for 2 years straight telling any women that would listen that this was a good-looking Negro. Mm-hmm. Since when? When did y'all start liking a big nose? And when did y'all like a little head and a big jaw? When? Since when? That look like my daddy. When you start liking my daddy? You like black people's features like that? If this ugly nigga is good looking, then all niggas is good looking. Anytime you see them telling you something you can't believe, just understand it's a play. And it don't matter. You gonna know it's a play as soon as they get in that position and think they gonna tell somebody something. No, you're not. No, you're not. Marvel will cancel you you won't be allowed to read a comic book. What is you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here, ugly boy. Yeah, they love fooling the people.
Monique was saying that I need to date, older women.
Yeah, that's what you need, huh? That's what you need.
I be young enough to be their daughters and don't find that creepy. I responded and say, I don't know why these women be in everybody's business and don't find that creepy. But what? Hold on. But if Stella can get her groove back, Shay gonna get his groove back. How Shay got his groove back?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't say no with Stella, because I remember I went to the movie and you clap it. Yeah, child. Do it, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, Shay trying to get his groove back is a problem.
Yeah, it's a double standard. It's a double standard. And sometimes this is what they try to do. This is what older women try to do. Older women will guilt trip you. They will guilt trip you into why you're dealing with younger women, and because ain't nobody picking us.
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your ass and get your old bitch out there that can love you old. You're trying to hang out with these young bitches and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Told you. I told you. You ain't telling me shit.
Well, Katt Williams was right again. Looks like Shannon Sharpe is facing the music that he has buried deep into his closet, because what's done in the dark will always come to the light. I honestly think Katt Williams came on to Shannon Sharpe's show because he was foreshadowing. He was warning Shannon. And it's so crazy how his cognitive distance didn't catch on to the warnings that Katt Williams was giving out. That he was telling him to take heed, to telling him to chill, telling him to stop. Yet he still was doing the things that he was doing behind closed doors. Now it seems like after that interview, the floodgates opened because we saw Diddy go down. A lot of big heads in the industry, a lot of big heads in the black industry, music industry was going down. Their names being thrown in and different accusations. Tony Busby is the lawyer that everybody is going to when it seems like there's a problem. And the cognitive distance with Shannon Sharpe is, how did you not take what Katt Williams was saying to you and not apply it to yourself? Why? Because he's so distant from reality. He doesn't think that what he is doing is wrong because it's so normalized. Once you create a habit like that and you have so much power and access to things, you kind of have a distortion. No, you do have a distortion to reality. Shannon Sharpe did seem uncomfortable, but at the same time, I don't think that he felt like his day was coming or whatever skeletons he was hiding in his closet was that bad. Even to the point where he had an interview with Darnell Rawlings and kind of basically threw him under the bus for dating a younger woman and having a kid with a younger woman who was 23 years old, and made jokes about meeting her at Forever 21. Meanwhile, you met this 19-year-old at the gym.
She's so young that she could pop out. 20?
She 23. Darnell.
20. Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the...
Darnell.
I didn't date her mom because... Why didn't I date her mom? What?
You like him young, though.
Don't do that. I don't like him young.
But that just shows you how much his reality is just so distant from himself. Like, he is beyond reproach, because a lot of people like that. They feel like they can out other people's dirt, but nobody can tell them about themselves. And this also goes to show that what glitters is not gold. Anybody can get online and get on a mic and pretend to be whoever they want to portray themselves to be.
Guys, do us a favor. Make sure you subscribe to the Nightcap podcast feed wherever you get your podcast from. And remember, every podcast subscriber... It's playing back in my ear, guys. It's playing back in my ear. So I can't read while that's playing in my ear. I'm sorry, guys. Guys, we're sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know if it's me or if it's on the other end, but I promise you that won't happen again. Guys, please make sure you do us a favor. Go check out Shea by LaPortier. If Shea is not in the state or a city near you, you can order it and it... Guys, damn it! What is... Ash, you... I'm doing it again.
We right on time.
So while he's sitting up there interviewing other men and throwing their dirt out there of dating younger women, meanwhile, he was doing some interesting things behind closed doors with a 19 to 21, 23-year-old. And Katt Williams wasn't the only one that tried to warn Shannon Sharpe. Monique also knew what was going on, because a lot of these industry folks, they know what goes on behind the scenes. They just don't tell it out in public. So word has probably gotten around how Shannon likes to move behind the scenes in the industry, and she also was trying to put him on game. But it went right over his head. Now here's my 3 takes out of this whole situation. Men with money. When men who never had anything become something and they gain all this access to power and money and, you know, control, and no one's saying no to you, and women are throwing themselves at you. This is where discipline is the most important thing in a man's life. You can be an athlete, you can be the president, you can be the greatest thing, it's all greatest things. But if you do not have sexual discipline as a man to not control those urges and not go into the deviant behaviors that are out there, you will become so numb to all the access that you've been having, where you're gonna start to deep dive into some other things that people like to call fetishes. Now think about it. A man who's 50 something, 56 years old, went through life basically being praised, money, women. After a while and after so much intercourse, you're gonna get numb to it. You're gonna look for another thrill. You're gonna look for something that can get you going in a different way. And this is where a lot of men in power end up going downhill, because they like to end up abusing that power. So my own personal take, I made a short about it and I made a TikTok about it, saying that men with a lot of money and power and access to a lot of beautiful women end up developing weird kinks or different cravings when it comes down to intimacy, because there's only so many baddies you can run through. There's only so many beautiful women you can run through. It's even to the point where people question that the girl that's involved in accusing Shannon of all these things, she's not cute enough. She's not a baddie. She's not a 10. It's not about the looks. You gotta dig a little deeper. You're scratching on the surface. It's not about the looks. It's not about how she looks. It's about the control and power and adrenaline rush. It seems like this relationship was a role-playing type relationship. He had full command and power and control over this young woman, because this woman is, yes, she's an OnlyFans model, but she doesn't probably have the amount of access to high powerful men like the other women who are dimes and tens and who are also OnlyFans models or who are supermodels. They have options still. Like Shannon Sharpe is one of a dozen of men for those caliber of women. But then you get a typical looking 19-year-old girl who's young. But this is the thing. A lot of these older men are gonna F around and find out that these young girls are not the young girls that y'all thought about back in the day. They're not as dumb and they're not as naive as they used to be, especially women who are into sex work. Now, this girl was playing her role. She was giving in to the fantasies that he was craving, and she was fulfilling those needs, even if it was uncomfortable to her. This woman straight up said it's $25K for each cheek. $25K for each cheek. She was putting money on it. She wasn't about to, oh, I love him. These men need to understand that you can't groom young girls the way you used to groom young girls, because social media is grooming young girls. These young girls are learning from the older heads. They're learning from men. They're learning from other younger girls. They're learning from other people's mistakes, and they're learning how to move and how to deal with these older men. Older men are the only ones that are being delusional to think that young girls are wanting them because, you know, they're just amazing. No, they're coming in, they're gonna use you, and they're gonna hope that your lifespan is not that long. They're not coming in playing Susie Homemaker, and they're not trying to be your nurse anymore. They're coming in and demanding, if I'm gonna give you my youth and my beauty, I'm gonna demand these things from you. So long to the old days where older men think that they can groom these younger girls, because there's so much on the internet that these girls are learning from, and they're learning from women like Sprinkle, Shera 7, that's putting them on game, and that's making sure these young girls, if they're gonna be dealing with the older man, they're gonna get something out of it, and they're not gonna shorten themselves to just quote unquote so-called love.
And thoughts on Shannon Sharpe situation? Oh, okay, so he tried to get with a 19-year-old OnlyFans chick, and she ended up accusing him of SA, and now she's trying to get his money. Okay. I did a video on a subject similar to this yesterday, talking about how old men need to realize that they can't mold women anymore, especially young women, because social media is molding the minds of young women now to get that money. And so they no longer see old men the same anymore. They see a money bag, and that's all that they see. They will not allow older men to mold them anymore. They've already been molded by social media, and they're finna get more money out of it. Young women have been molded by social media to only deal with men who are beneficial, and if they're not beneficial, then they need to find a way for them to be beneficial. That's what they've learned on social media. So, but older men don't realize that social media is molding the minds of young women. They feel like they're still able to mold the minds of young women if they get a hold of them. They don't realize it's already been done. So it's now going to start backfiring when these younger women start dating these older men, because they see what happened to Cassie and Diddy. They see what happened to a lot of younger girls. They see my videos. They're already in the know of how these older men are, and they're only there for the money and opportunities. Okay. And if someone has a little clout, they're going to make sure they get a little clout. You see? So they're already been molded and raised by social media on what to do when they get in the presence of an older man with money. Sprinkle, that's what I think about it.
Now, my last take is for Black women specifically. I've seen a lot of Black women say, you know what, Shannon, if you were with a Black woman, this would never happen. If you would have just got you an older Black woman that's around your age or a little bit younger, you wouldn't have been in this type of situation. And I honestly think that that's a dangerous message to push.
You single?
Damn, You trying to hit on me? I ain't got no money. I'm telling you, I ain't got no money. We gonna be back in Section 8.
Come to think of it. She cleaned out your bank account. All of it. You tried to keep it from me, and she took it all. Huh? Huh? Oh, Lord have mercy.
You are sending a message that Black women should endure and put up with these things because we are just so different from white women. We would never put them in jail when really, no, if a man does something to you, if a man harms you, no matter what his race is, you have a right to protect yourself and you have a right to call the cops on them if your life is in danger, or you have a right to sue if you feel like that person has put you through traumatic things and they're gonna have to pay up. We're the only ones that's programming each other to stick it out, to toughen up, to continue on the generational curse of suffering. Black femicide is a real thing, and it's a word for a reason. Why do you think that Black femicide was trending a few years ago? Because Black women were waking up, realizing that Black women were dying at the hands of a lot of Black men at a higher rate than any of our other peers. Therefore, we're gonna have to move a little bit more smart in this world, regardless of race. So no, I'm glad that Shannon Sharpe wasn't seeking out young, traumatized Black women and using them as his trope or his muse or his getting off to his kinks or whatever else that he was desiring from this other young woman. At the end of the day, I'm gonna let things play out, but a lot of people are speaking way too soon and saying that this is a shakedown. We don't know if this is a shakedown. That's way too early to tell, but it does seem like he has a pattern, okay? His other ex came out and he was also in the middle of another lawsuit with his ex that's just now coming out public. She said that she had to endure a lot of kinky things behind the scenes with Shannon Sharpe. So this is a pattern, and usually with people with patterns, when they've done this for so long, there is no changing, okay? Shannon Sharpe, after this dies down, he's gonna go on to have someone fill out these kinks again, because once you have a craving and a desire and you crave these things and it's a pattern with you and you're at the age that you're at, ain't no changing unless you want change. And it's gonna be real hard to change because you're gonna always have that craving. You're just gonna have extra discipline to say no to it because it's gotten you in a lot of trouble. And honestly, I think Shannon Sharpe had a thrill out of risking his career and money dealing with this young girl. Think about it, like, man, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this. That guy grabs, choke little white girl, like, that plays out in your head and you fantasize like what that would look like and the adrenaline rush behind it. But now you're getting to live it out and it's not so pretty for you, Shannon. Y'all go ahead and let me know your thoughts below about this whole Shannon Sharpe situation. Do you think that it's a shakedown? Do you think Shannon Sharpe is innocent? Do you think the girl is just after a bag? Do you really think the things that she's accusing him of, did he really do it? Do you think that this is deserved? And did you think that Katt Williams knew exactly what Shannon Sharpe was doing behind the scenes and came onto his show specifically to warn him? Y'all let me know your thoughts below. btaylortv, and I'm out.